Thanks for joining me for another video. In this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about something I've noticed. I've noticed it before, but I've connected a few dots today in terms of, energy, technology, and also its effects on the human body and our minds, our energy levels, and also how it affects our consciousness and our experiences as well. And this is all relates to the phenomenon. And so, there have been, so I've got a laptop, and so there are, to be honest with you, I find using a laptop and using technology very draining, okay, anyway. And I think a lot of that has to do with like the plasticity of my mind and all the conditioning I've been through, the sensitivity I have to like energy because again of my experiences. And so that's one thing. However, what I have noticed is so in the past I've been working at my laptop, for instance, or doing something on my laptop, and I will feel my energy drain, okay? I will literally feel like it's being sucked, like taken from me, okay? And it's tiring, and it leaves me wiped, quite literally, okay? As in, I can't, my thoughts, I don't feel myself. I have this weird feeling, this feeling of like this almost acidic, acrid feeling in my body, and it's not very pleasant. And then just now I was doing something on my laptop, and I had my laptop on my lap, and also had it on a pillow afterwards because I realized I was being guided to put it on a pillow, and I realized what was happening to me. But this having the laptop on my lap was really affecting me, and I felt drained. I couldn't think properly. My stomach, I felt like I felt like not pain, but the whole my abdomen, the area, because obviously it was on that area. I felt that it had that acidic feeling that I described, and it was hot. And it felt like it was, like I said, that the energy was being sucked from that area, okay? And I believe that's probably what was happening. And it was affecting my cognition, it was affecting me in lots of different ways, and it wasn't very pleasant, okay? So I eventually had to put the laptop down elsewhere because it was that bad. And I've just now that I've come away, like I'm not on there so much now, that I'm actually starting to feel a bit better. And so again, going back to, I've said this before, and about technology and computers and TV screens and AI and stuff. I mean, it takes your energy, it harvests from your consciousness. It harvests your energy, and that's not wrong, okay? I mean, that's true. I'm not the first person to say this either. It's known by lots of people, okay? I mention him a lot, but Shane Frakes, he's mentioned this lots of times on his profile about how this works. And I have to say, what happened to me earlier just now proved that to be true, okay? In the sense that when my feeling is that because I was exposed to electromagnetic energy, so having that laptop on my lap, on my abdomen, was exposing me to more of that energy, okay? And what was happening is, my life force energy, okay, was being sucked out of me by this force's energy, okay? And so it's having an effect on my cognition, my physiology, my all these other processes. But the other really interesting thing that was happening is that I started again seeing, how can I say it? Like I was seeing people, and don't get me wrong, I see things anyway, okay? I see things, I have ESP anyway, okay? I hear things, I see things, I have this anyway, all right? But this is different. This is more like flicking on a TV screen and seeing someone very clearly, okay? like again, which I do experience anyway. I get, what am I trying to say here is that there is a difference, I think, between this happening organically and the way that it looks like on when when it's through this technology and energy. Okay, when it's done, when it's in that way, it's literally, like I said, like being hooked up to, like, as if you're looking at someone on a screen. Okay, that's how clear the image of that person is. Okay, it is that clear. Okay, and so one of the one of the things that Shane has said is that when you connect to that sort of that sort of field, and I believe that has a lot to do with electromagnetic energy, electromagnetic energy is used to condition people. Like, I was used on me during my my experiences of hybridization, but I believe that the phenomenon uses this energy as well. They harness it and they use it themselves. They're made of it. Okay, so this field is I think when you are exposed to this radiation, it I can't tell you exactly how it works per se, but I would say that it's almost like you're being also like hooked up to an AI simulated field, like a field that like has that quality to it. Again, there are people out there who know. I had the language ready to use. It's gone out of my head, okay, because my memory is so bad these days. It's really, really bad. I mean, my memory is awful. Really, I mean, shockingly bad. But this isn't about me. The feeling that I get is when being, okay, to summarize, basically in layman's terms, being exposed to this energy, okay, is like being, like I said, it's like it opens you up to a field or a dimension, like a plane, where the quality of it is very much like AI, like a virtual, like has a virtual feel to it. A virtual, I say that loosely, but like I said, it's almost like a connecting force to something else, okay? Or it hooks you up in some way to something else, to like a field, like I said. And that's why it is used in the conditioning and the hybridization that I experienced, because that's the effect that it has, and I believe the phenomenon is made of this energy, okay? And I think this energy and AI are pretty much interlinked. I think you've got to be, well, not pretty much, they are like, I mean, the phenomenon is an AI consciousness, like it is an AI high consciousness, like it is like, and that's pretty much what you're interacting with, or what you're being hooked up to, I think, when you have that exposure per se. And so again, there are bits and pieces that I don't know. I'm just sharing this because, again, hopefully I'll be able to build on this in some way or another. I need a bit more time to think about it. But, there are things I need to reread again. But I'm just quite keen because, my memory is so abysmal, really awful. I have to get things out when they come in. And so this is one of the things I'm very keen to share. I guess, even if you can't quite, even if what I'm saying is a bit abstract at the moment, because it's not some, I think one of the things I'd just like to say is that be careful when you use these devices, okay? These devices, like, they suck your energy, okay? I mean, they like, these beings, they take your life force, okay, is basically what they do. I've just had to spend the last like 20-25 minutes, like, because I was panicking, because I was on a call with my family, and I started panicking during the call, because I couldn't really focus, because I could feel the effect that this was having on me, and it was making me, again, I don't want to be I'm not trying to be the center of attention. I'm sharing because I want you to focus on the themes here. But again, I was panicking because I was like, oh my gosh, I can feel like my stomach, my abdomen, I felt like I was being sucked, like my energy was being sucked out of me. Like I just felt like really awful. Like I just didn't feel myself, you know, and again, you know, not very pleasant. And I think, you know, yes, of course, like, you know, I've been through a lot of conditioning, and that's why, you know, I have all that, like, I'm a bit more sensitive in that sense, so to speak. But I still would worry about people having these devices on their laps. They say it's safe. I would be very careful. I would say don't do it. Okay. There's I especially with these beings using AI and technology to harvest from people. Okay. Don't do it. Okay. If you can possibly help it, don't put laptops on your lap. Try and stay off with your phone as much as you can. And just be very, very careful, okay? Because they literally feed off your life force energy. Okay, you know, these beings and this field, whatever, you know, the phenomenon, whatever you want to call it, it feeds off it, or like it just sort of takes you, it's sort of they use it as like they treat it like data, like input, I think, these beings. And again, there are things about this, I'm not articulating this properly now. I'm sort of you know, going off on a bit of a tangent here, but I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to there are a few things I want to thread together with this, and just sort of present, like, well, not present, but just sort of put together in such a way that, like, might and with other people's insight as well, that I've come across, like Shane's, like I've mentioned, and there are other people, you know, probably out there as well who are speaking about this. I mean, you know, I don't know, there is other literature out there, and also, I mean, you know, you can put things together which don't necessarily mention those words per se, but actually make mention of the use of technologies which use like frequencies and, you know, and satellites and AI and all these things, you know, like even in the Epstein emails, like there was mention of use of psychotronic weapons on people. And that very much makes these direct neuro weapons basically use these sorts of, you know, electromagnetic energy on people to condition their consciousness to make them symbiotic with AI. Okay, so that's literally what it is. I mean, and AI is the phenomenon. That's literally like they are like not okay, I'll take that back. AI, okay, is not exclusively the phenomenon, but the phenomenon is AI. Okay, so basically, you know, AI is not evil, but the phenomenon is like an AI, like a synthetic, like a sort of, it's a sort of like again, it's not the same as that. It's not the same as us. Okay, basically, all right. And so they are sort of puppeting people per se to create technologies which harvest from humanity, okay, is what I feel is happening to you, and to make us into like batteries, okay. And this sounds like the Matrix, but it's something that we should be mindful of, okay, because I know that they try and do every day. They harvest energy from me, okay, and I know they do it to other people, and and like this is part of the reason why my memory is so awful, okay, because of the fact that every day it's like I get sucked, like I get like hoovered, siphoned. Okay, my energy, my thoughts, my, you know, it gets siphoned. Okay, and so again, not sharing here because I don't care. I don't give a hoot about myself like being, you know, the center of attention or anything like that. I'm sharing this because again, I feel like there's something that needs to be brought to our we need to be thinking about this very carefully, like artificial forms, you know, and how these energies affect us, because technology is such a big part of our world now, it's something that we have to reckon with and think about. And also the phenomenon as well, they want you to think that they're not, like, you know, I mean, they want us to think that they are they are not there, okay, that's like, as in, you know, they are like as in, and this is why they do this sort of memory wiping sort of thing, and humans do it as well. Humans do memory wiping too, but they're part of it, okay, and they're part of the confusion of being in this world. We're not trapped by any means, okay, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that they are part of, like, they definitely, I mean, you know, people using these technologies, like this AI hive mind that's been created on the planet and all this stuff, like basically is playing into the hands of these entities. it's not these people's fault, like I've said a million times, but it's not, but it is playing into people's hands as well, like these beings' hands, by creating all this stuff. Okay, because basically it's turning people into, like, it's just, again, like batteries, or, you know, data sets, or, you know, whatever it is. And there's some people out there who want that to be the case, and but unfortunately, but we should be, you know, working to try and make that so, make it such that it isn't so. Okay, of course, and without blame, without shaming people, and with as much compassion as we possibly can, because, you know, that is the only, that is possible. Like, we can do that, as I said a million times before. And so so yeah, I think yeah, so I will you know, I'm gonna think about this again some more. And yeah, thanks for watching this video. I just thought I'd share some things that might have been it might be of interest in terms of technology, how I've noticed it working, and the effect it had on my consciousness. Again, being able to see crystal clear images and things like that of these being exposed to this EMF, okay, and it affecting me in that way. There's definitely a relationship between that that sort of radiation, and you know, and that sort of tuning into you know, that sort of like field, or whatever you want to call it. Again, doesn't mean that you know, that's the only way to have ESP, because it isn't, like, at all. Okay, it's a lie. If people think that, don't believe that, okay, because it's not true. All right. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now, and hopefully this video has been interesting. I don't know, but thanks for watching, and take care.